Ever walked into a crowded place and felt your brain lag like a phone at 1%? If crowds drain you before you even arrive, you're not broken and you're not too sensitive. Your brain might just be running a high alert system that notices more, processes more, and burns energy faster. Picture this: your phone buzzes with an invite to a packed mall or concert, and your stomach drops before you even stand up. That drop isn't drama, it's your nervous system calculating the cost of noise, lights, people, and pressure. Today I'll explain what's happening inside your mind in a simple way, and I'll give you tools that actually work in real life. By the end, you'll know how to walk into a crowd without sacrificing your whole battery. Let's start with the first piece: sensory overload. Crowd stress usually comes from three layers: sensory input, social interpretation, and recovery cost. Let's lock in the first layer, sensory input, because this is where your battery gets taxed first. Noise is not just sound, it's hundreds of tiny signals your brain has to sort and prioritize. Bright lights, fast movement, and tight space add even more data, so your mind never gets a clean moment to rest. Some brains blur most of this into the background automatically, but if your nervous system doesn't blur it out, you end up tracking everything, even when you don't want to. Your attention gets pulled in 10 directions, and your body stays slightly tense the entire time. That's why crowds can feel exhausting, even if nothing bad happens. Now let's talk about the second layer, social interpretation, because this is the part people don't see. In a crowd, your brain isn't only hearing words, it's reading faces, tone shifts, distance, eye contact, and tiny changes like a non-stop puzzle. Even if you're not judging anyone, your mind still checks for rejection, conflict, or pressure in the background. That silent scanning costs energy, and it stacks on top of the sensory noise. This is why small talk in a loud place can feel exhausting, even if the person is kind. Your brain is translating the whole situation, not just the conversation. And when everything is fast and crowded, that translation becomes expensive. So it's not "I hate people," it's "I hate constant decoding." Now, the third layer is the recovery cost, and this explains the crash after you leave. You don't feel tired because you're weak, you feel tired because your brain sprinted while pretending it was only walking. After intense noise and non-stop decoding, your nervous system needs quiet to reset, like muscles need rest after a workout. If you don't reset, your brain starts dreading crowds because it remembers the overload. That's why you might cancel plans at the last second, not out of laziness, but out of protection. You're not avoiding life, you're avoiding a predictable crash. Once you understand recovery cost, you stop blaming your personality and start managing your energy. Now we switch from why it happens to what to do, because a plan beats willpower. Tool 1 is time boxing. Decide your limit before you arrive, like 60 to 90 minutes, and leave before you hit empty. Time boxing works because your brain feels safer when it knows there's an end. Tool 2 is an anchor. Pick one stable thing to reduce variables, like one friend, one calm corner, or one simple task, like holding a drink. Anchors tell your nervous system we have a base, so it stops scanning in panic. These two tools don't make crowds fun, but they make crowds survivable, and once crowds are survivable, you get your choice back. Tool 3 is the 2-minute exit, and it's your emergency brake. When you feel overload rising, step outside for 2 minutes, breathe slowly, and let your body downshift. You're not being dramatic, you're preventing a bigger crash later. If you can't leave, create a visual quiet zone. Face a wall, lower your gaze, or focus on one object for 10 seconds. That tiny reset reduces the amount of data your brain is forced to process. Tool 4 is the social script, because explaining yourself is also draining. Keep one polite line ready, say it calmly, and move without guilt. The goal is simple: protect your nervous system without turning it into a scene. Tool 5 is the next day buffer, because recovery is part of the event. If you know a crowd is coming, protect your schedule after it like you're protecting sleep. Plan something quiet, even if it's just a slow walk, a shower, or 20 minutes alone with no input. Needing quiet isn't a flaw, it's energy management. You don't have to make crowds your lifestyle to prove you're confident. You can love people and still hate environments that scramble your nervous system. So label crowds as high load, use your tools, and choose your peace on purpose. If this helped, save it, share it with someone who gets overwhelmed too, and subscribe for more psychology you can actually use.